T, stop slandering my hero.
It's not slander. Just make a better fucking product, okay? So
Back, everybody. This is episode 6 of D2T2 podcast. Coming out a little bit earlier than expected. About 3 days in between. Today we're gonna be covering Hell's Paradise and a series that I don't know how many people have heard of. There's no anime for it. There's a manga exclusive. It's Phantom Seer. And well, that's about all we're gonna cover today. I think that you guys be quite interested about Hell's Paradise if you have heard about it. And then Phantom Seer, it's definitely a different one. Kind of goes on its own unique path, but I've enjoyed it so far. So we're gonna start with Hell's Paradise, and we're in T-Dub, give a little rundown of volumes, then we jump in on important points that we have jotted down that we want to cover.
All right, so Hell's Paradise. I read it in like 2 hours, like the first 3 volumes in like 2 hours. I was just speeding the best I could just to be able to catch up with everybody else for the most part. Because I think Daniil, you're on volume what?
Finished.
You finished? Daniel, you finished?
No, I'm on like 7, I think.
Volume 7, easy.
7 or 8.
Okay, so I'm behind. But in the volume, you meet our main character, and his name's Maru. He's an exiled ninja from Iwagakure.
Yeah, you got correct.
Mm-hmm. And he has got some cool little supernatural-esque powers. Yeah, he can use ninjutsu, and he's just Nimpo. Bad. Okay. She called it.
It's a little confusing because
There's
some
Nimpo-
characters
okay,
use
yeah.
ninjutsu, some use
ninjutsu,
Nimpo.
slime.
Mm-hmm.
Slime time, Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So, it starts out, he is imprisoned, getting ready to be executed, and they just can't kill him. They say he keeps resisting, and he doesn't feel like he's resisting. He just wants to die because he doesn't feel like he has anything left to live for. But he comes to the realization that he wants to live and see his wife again. His wife changed him. His wife is the daughter of the head of his clan, or the head of his ninja clan.
Chief.
Exactly, remember the chief. Yeah, and and he is called what? Gavimaru Hollow.
Yeah.
And the way they tried to execute him and failed, tried to pull him apart by oxen, tried to decapitate
oxen, decapitation, burn him. They tried to burn him 2 different ways. They tried to burn him at the stake, and then they tried to burn him with oil.
Too bad he owns fire.
Yeah.
The oil one was pretty interesting because like a bunch of people died trying to burn him alive.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, what they said is that with the burning alive, it's not the fire that gets you; it's the carbon monoxide poisoning. So he just in the volume, basically what it is he just can't die, and he was given an option for a pardon by a samurai and the feudal lord to go and find the elixir of life, kind of like Fountain of Youth type deal. So yeah. So that's what they do in the first volume. Now second volume comes around. So at the end of the first, before I forgot to mention, so the pardon is they have to go find the elixir of life on an island that is considered to be uninhabited, but they don't really know anything about the island. They know about tangerines because one of the people that technically survived, I guess you could say, but was transformed in a sense, and said Tangerine, and we'll get to what that kind of goes into in the when we start talking about volume 3.
Yeah, you don't have to hit on everything because we're gonna go back through,
Mhm.
skip, go through what we want, the important.
Uh,
So you can do a quick
well,
one. You don't have to hit on it.
okay, so volume 2, we meet all the other characters, and we go on through that. And in volume 3, we meet the big baddies, the main villains. There's monsters called what are they called again?
Shoshin Guardians.
Okay, the Soshin Guardians. The big baddies are called Tenzin. There's 5 of them, I believe. That's correct.
7.
Seven Tenzin, and all the characters on the island are like super beyond belief, and allows them to be tougher than everybody else and survive better, depending. But they are all criminals being pardoned if they find this elixir of life. So on to the next.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back and talk about Gabimaru. I think he is probably one of the cooler characters that I know about in the manga that I've read so far. Just because of like his personality towards life, like he doesn't want to. Well, he acts like he doesn't want to help people, and he acts like he doesn't really want to be alive. He doesn't care if he dies or lives. He just kind of does what he wants. But he does talk about his wife, and his nickname is Gabimaru the Hollow because everyone thinks, he has no emotions, no feelings. He just goes and just kills people and leaves. So I think that's just a pretty dope character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gabriel the Harlow from, obviously, I've read the whole, but just through the first chapters, you still kind of foggy about his backstory. Raised as a ninja from super young age, and I think he's one of the better protagonists. I think that a lot of series, guys, in their protagonists are great, but I feel like the side characters carry it a little bit. I feel like Gabimaru is, yes, it breaks away and talks about the island and the things that are going on. It's separate from Gabimaru at the time, but when he's on panel page, it's just a better story. I feel like he carries the series more than as like they could do a whole arc without Yuji, and it'd feel like nothing. But
I do feel like all of the characters in Hell's Paradise so
yes,
far are really good, though.
all of them are cool, but I feel like without Gabimaru, the story just would. Obviously, the story's based around him, but I feel like without him, like if the story of, because they're all essentially just trying to find the elixir of life. So, like we're following
Like
um
the hamburger
a
and the
big
hamburger
dragon blade. His name Tamiya, the big dude who wants to fight. I feel like it wouldn't be as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Gabimaru's powers, obviously, or behind him, like he is. I don't know. I feel like Sagira is also really.
Yeah, Sagiri
Her
is
backstory.
the a Samon that's assigned to him, because when they get sent to Paradise, which is the island that they're trying to find the elixir of life on, each criminal gets assigned a Samon, which is like a samurai who specialized in executing.
Yeah.
Capitation.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So Sagiri is Gabimaru's Samon, and she's a pretty cool character. She definitely has her little flaws that she pulls out, but I feel like she shows a lot of plus like when they get to the island and when they first start encountering some bad people.
Oh, for sure. T, what do you think
Oh, yeah.
about Gabimaru? I know that you really like Hills. Decided to continue it.
Yeah, I like Gabimaru a lot. He's probably my favorite like manga character that I have like read about easily. I don't know if I can quite say my favorite like anime total, but maybe once the actual anime comes out, it could probably easily be taken because I feel like once his moments do get animated, it is gonna be pretty nutty.
Yeah.
I like him and Saguri's fucking relationship because I think they compare it to like yin and yang at one point in
Yeah.
time. Like they're just like a really like I guess everybody in this kind of has like their duo, I guess, like their partner, um, and they're like the best of the best is like when it comes together, how they can work together. I think it's also cool to note that like as like unkillable as he is, Gabby Murray even says right off the beginning, like if anyone can like actually like he doesn't like go like saying you can kill me, but like you could be great. And he was just telling her like because she has like confidence issues because she's not because like every female is supposed to be like the typical like female role of like that time of like being like
Mhm.
the housemaid and everything like that, and she wants to be someone who's like a warrior and also like a swordsman. I think she even she tests the weapons and shit, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah. So,
It's just yeah. Go ahead, Tito.
so yeah, what you're saying about the testing weapons, is the Yamada clan specializes in decapitation and sword testing. So I was just gonna add that in there for you.
They also make
Um, yeah, medicine off dead bodies. So, all right,
Yeah, I feel
keep
like
going.
the Asaemon add a little extra spice to this series too, because we meet some pretty interesting characters just by the
Mhm.
Asaemon. Like as we look at the different characters, like the ninja chick, I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yuzu.
Yeah, her Asaemon is like super in love with her and like doesn't want to step
Senta.
in her path. Yeah, which is just the complete opposite of what the Asaemon do, because when they first meet them, Gabimaru is still bound and everything because the criminals are supposed to be bound and the Asaemon are supposed to be
Mhm.
watching over them. And the ninja chick is just completely walking around free without her little arms tied or anything.
Well, the thing is, like all the criminals other than Gavin Maru were unbound.
Yeah, but that just
So,
shows also Sagiri's like dedication to her craft, right? Because
oh yeah, no,
she's
100%.
like one of the only female Asaemon, so she wants to show
Yeah.
that she's gonna do things, by the book.
Yeah, you really see that Sagiri is by the book. The way she goes about everything,
Mhm.
flashbacks, how she got Mario around, and he goes along with it when he needs to. He snaps them off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They all of the other Asmon that it's
They
a
won't
dangerous
survive.
place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They both need each other. Like T was saying, how all of them have that duo, making a good there about how they have the duo. They're kind of like perfect for each other.
Mhm.
Because Senta, Zuria's partner, doesn't seem the smartest, at least, and then she gets the smart ass one. So
Mhm.
it's things like that, and you meet some more like Tenza and
Uh.
Nuragia when you introduced to them.
Mhm. Um. So another thing is like when we meet Yuzuru, she has another Asaemon with her besides Senta. She has Genji, I believe his name is, or Genja, something like that, and he is completely fallen in love with her. Like there's no, she used her, what is it, Kunoichi charms or whatever the hell they use. It's art of seduction for information and interrogation, and he ends up actually dying to protect her and everybody else.
That's pretty cool.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Speaking of use a T, who is one of the characters you liked more, most of the characters. You kind of explain her see
ninjutsu.
I don't think you see that in 3D.
when I was skimming through, she says I'll show it, and she's doing
Yeah.
a really
Oh
weird
She
yeah,
face.
does. She
yeah,
does.
that
I
little
don't think
bit.
she doesn't use
She
it
just
like.
says she's going to.
Yeah, I don't think she uses it like that though. Not quite yet.
I don't
So I want
recall
to
seeing that. I
say.
just knew that she like showed
I want to
that
say.
she gets icky.
I want to say it's 5 is when she first really
That's
busted
what
it
I
out.
think when her and the crew, Shion and all.
Yeah, because I want to say the first time she busted it out, yeah, she has to like save herself. I'm not to get too much into it, but yeah, I don't think she uses that quite yet. I think she does kind of like, I guess, hand on the holster, I guess, type deal for it, but never actually unleashes it.
With that,
I don't think she does.
since we're kind of
I thought she
ahead,
used it in 3 with Hoko, the tree
I,
guy.
I didn't think she did.
I don't
She
think
might
she
have.
ends up unleashing
I
it.
I didn't
No,
think.
she
I mean,
doesn't
I'll
unleash
look.
it,
I
but
didn't
she
think she did.
does.
The way you're
She
skimming
does
through,
start.
do we see what Shoyon's blind Asamon?
Oh, Shion.
Do we see what he knows, like how he goes about seeing the world?
Yeah. So he sees by sight is not his sight is his hearing and his smell. Is I believe is what they said, and they weren't exactly sure because whoever is doing that. Hold on.
It all gets convoluted
Yeah,
for me since
I will be right back.
we went over it, but with it all being in with all in the story, when because you meet the characters so fast and it all escalates. It's just I get that's why with the slime because you see her about activate it, but she doesn't use it. I don't believe. And then Shurion, when you find out why how he does see the world, I think that's pretty interesting. And since we're talking about some of the fights, Tenza and Narugia, okay, but she's from the mountain village, and they're on a boat and they're fighting the Kraken.
Yeah, because the first thing they wanted to do was to get off the island.
The bounce.
They saw how dangerous it was and what was on the island. They're like, you know what? Let's leave.
Ultimately, they're not able to. And then they come across what T-Dub deemed the big baddie, Tenzin, one of the 7. And, well, it's just unfortunate when somebody actually does cross because it doesn't end well. So, yeah, when you meet the Tenzin, that fights Tenza, the names are all tied together. It seems. And Niguria, um, Shoya, Showen shows up, and you learn that he is the master who trains him.
Shion, right?
I remember that. All right. So with when Shion does show up, you kind of get to experience like you see how much, even though like they are this clan of decapitators, how much they care for each other inside the clan. How much the Asmons care in the ranks of each of them, because I'm pretty sure it's 112. And Sierra is number 12 start of it. And they have this intense fight, but unfortunately Tenza does die, and Niguria, who wanted to marry this man before he knew she wasn't a man, she takes it pretty rough, and Shion says, "No, I'm not going to train you," and she just begs him, calls him sensei. What do you guys think about that particularly? I thought that fight was one of the more emotional ones, especially that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing.
It was, especially because you see the thought process of Tenza while he's like being killed in front of the people he cares about, because they're like the Tenzin crushes his throat or cuts his throat, and he's just thinking the whole time, just say run, like just tell him to run away.
Yeah.
And he just can't get a word out. It's a pretty emotional part for me, I guess, but
And because you didn't know him for that long, on top of that.
Yeah, I thought it was a surprise death. Like it was like I don't know. I guess kind of setting the mood. I guess kind of, but
Like it
Yeah,
is a
it
shonen, but
just
like
it felt like it was out of nowhere. Like I thought you're gonna see him around for a lot longer, be able to train her for a lot longer, and then it's just all of a sudden like the man that she was looking up to, like look up to and wanted to get trained under is just dead. Like it was just that
yeah.
quick, and I
Mhm.
just it really does set the. I feel like in this whole thing because there's just I feel like so much of that like I guess just death in general,
Say
but
because obviously the name of the story, Hell's Paradise, the island they're going essentially a paradise, but it's only a paradise compared to hell. And with how the story had been going, I still didn't expect to see a character that they were setting up because he was setting it up completely that it seemed like to be a main character and to be involved
Mhm.
in the story long term, and just see him get annihilated for someone that you've
Especially
only seen a
after
couple times.
Yeah, especially after he survives like going out in the water, which no one survived from doing that because of all the like creatures that are trying to keep him on.
and
They
the
survive
boats.
that, gets back on land, and then immediately after they get on land, it's like, well,
That you see all the
they
wreckage,
got
and it's
another.
and like you're saying, like it literally hops from one where you're like, oh yeah, they survived. You're liking the character, you learned something about him, and then boom, it full
Yeah.
throttle, no
Yeah, you
pause.
Yeah,
thought
because
there
a
was gonna
lot
be
of
like a training montage, and there
yeah,
just was not. There just was not it.
a lot of situations like that does happen. Like they overcome, whatever's happening to them. They survive. Then they have like a little period of time where they can rest and kind of like get
Group,
stronger. There was
share
none of that.
information.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
there was
uh,
none of that.
when they first get to the island, they fight. They come across some of the Shoshin guardians, and they have like little, like they have time, they chill out, and they talk about information and what the plan is. But no, they get on the island. Maybe it cuts away to a different fight. I don't remember exactly, but boom.
hmm And
Like
that's the one thing I do like about this series is that it's like there's a lot happening.
there's a lot that happens in the I think 127 chapters. So it really
hmm
definitely is because this is 26 chapters in, and it's that you're already a fifth of the story. Oh, like sixth of the story through, and it's just it definitely picks up really quick. And even during the big expedition dumps, it just doesn't seem like it's that you learn
Mhm.
information, but it's like in a chapter. So one chapter you learn stuff, and then they're back at it trying to figure out how to get the elixir. And another fight
Yeah.
we see with Tenzin is Chobi, not the other one. Chobi and his his little brother, who is an Asimon. You see them
Is
fight at
his little
Senza.
brother's name Toma or Soma?
Toma. Toma sound. I'm not. Doesn't
Yeah,
pop
it's
up all too
Toma.
much.
Toma. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chobi and Toma have a fight against the Tenzin, but they're also fighting the deities. And when they're
Mhm.
fighting the deities, you kind of see a little bit about how they backstory.
Yeah.
She hints about how, well, he hints about Toma hints about how Chobi has always adapted because she catches him drinking the blood of the in mid
Mhm.
battle. I thought that was kind of weird. What do you guys think about that fight itself?
Okay, so that for me, wait, back, sorry. Um, that for me, is really interesting because Chobi says that he drinks the blood to stay hydrated because that's what they did in the mountains with their bandit gang. Their backstory is, they were like royalty or nobles during to sons of a feudal lord or something like that, and or no, they were sons of a Ronin. He was part of the 47 Ronin back in the Edo period, and they got stripped of all titles and were poor, and then they got kidnapped by bandits, and Chobe adapted to the whole situation, every situation he was in, and actually eventually rose up and became the bandit leader, the bandit chief.
Then why he adapted because he always felt
Hmm.
like his brother, which
Yeah,
all family members have it,
yeah.
just not to the extent of him. Clearly,
Oh, and the thing is with Toma in tow with him, Toma actually what's that word that I'm looking for? uh, okay, he went into the Yamada clan and to save his brother. Um, and that's what they're doing right now. Is they're and Toma actually rose up in ranks in 1 month.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel T, what do you guys feel about Chobi as a character? Because obviously the fight is he definitely they get buried in a pit,
Yeah, they get thrown in the pit.
and they just thought
In
that
this one,
they were gonna.
I I think it shows his strength when he climbs out of that pit in one of the panels because he's never really supposed to, and you learn a lot more about that as it goes on. Um, because some of the vines and everything was like connecting to him as he was climbing out. I'm pretty sure his sister wasn't she pretty injured during that because he had to
So
carry her.
Toma is a dude.
Yeah, it is his
Or
brother.
It's his brother.
I
his
get it
brother. I mean,
confused too, like
Does
with
look like a
Haku.
girl, but
It's
Was
a
it-
Haku
was
It's
it-
kind
situation.
of like Haku.
wasn't he injured during that though?
Yeah,
Like because he had to
they were.
carry him on the shoulders.
Mm, they were
And
both
yeah,
badly injured.
and I think it just shows like I guess his will to keep surviving. Like I mean, they've never had anyone ever escape out of that pit before, as they say. Which I mean, I guess that might not be true, but if it is, there's very few people, and I feel like you just got to be like a certain somebody to climb out of that, and you're just
Gotta be
gonna
him.
learn slowly, yeah,
Gotta
that
be
he
him.
is him. That slowly he is him, and he is a dog, and he's probably my second favorite, maybe third favorite character in this, from what I've read and seen of him. He is pretty wild.
Yeah. You kind of do realize, if you think about it just a little bit, how insane Chobi really is. Because that pit, the Tenzin, the strongest on the island, they say it's impossible to get out of the pit once you're in.
Yeah, because I was gonna say when T talked about the panel, that's the end of the volume, and it shows Tenzin talking, like, gathering.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
don't
all that
worry.
chapter
You
is.
can't get out.
There's no way they got out of that pit. Essentially,
Mhm.
is what they said. Then you just see a panel of him cheesing is the way out. Like
Yeah, it's like, but do you know who he is? He is
you
him.
must have forgot that I was
Yeah.
him.
It didn't
He's
show.
probably the second biggest killer. Wouldn't you say he's probably the second biggest killer on the island compared
Yeah.
to like Gabimaru wise?
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about like street cred, I guess he's got to be like the second biggest.
I
Yeah,
think
because
that the
even
dragon, I think his nickname's like Dragon Blade, just because of how he did
Yeah.
his. It was more in the open, like he was more. I think he would be more known, but definitely on the island. I think see the fight at the beginning at the prison when they like tell them all to kill each other.
Mhm.
I think you see that he is kind of like that. Okay, like that guy got it.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
can
agree.
even tell Chobi's like mental, like he is just kind of slightly insane, because when him and Toma were younger with the bandits, I believe they were going to like attack Chobi or like torture him, and Chobi cuts himself, I believe. And the bandit's like, "What were you doing that for?" He's like, "So you couldn't do it, pretty much. Like, I'll just do it
Oh
for
yeah,
you."
I
because
we
they
weren't
said
gonna
he
do
was like
that, but like, yeah,
he
go
was
ahead.
Yeah.
he was too good looking to be like a bandit or something, so he like just cut himself. Like I remember
That's
that
how he
being
has that
cool, like,
scar.
yeah.
And it's a pretty prominent feature on Chobi. He's got this big
Oh yeah,
scar across his face, and he did it himself.
It's kind of
Don't
crazy
anyone fool
that
you. He did it himself.
yeah, it's kind of crazy that his biggest battle scar is the one that he did himself.
he
Caring
doesn't take
from
a lot of
everybody
damage.
else.
Nah, spoiler to me, but okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay.
fine. It's not too serious.
It's an aesthetic. It's not that bad.
yeah. It's just his back.
You just figure out what the scar's from, I guess.
So tracking back to Gabby Maru, we're gonna go back to volume 1 because there's a quote I have written down that I wanted to. So when they're all fighting, Gabby Maru doesn't move. It's just like, okay, y'all go crazy, kill each other, and then one of the samurai in the palace they're in is like, whoever you guys all need to target and kill him. And he's like, see, like, come on now, guys. We're not really into killing, are we? And then you see a big Texo says, wrong. And they're all attacking him. And he's kind of like, he's like, all right. He's getting ready to start fighting back. And they're like, I thought you didn't want to kill. He's like, when it comes to killing or be killed, I kill because I'm not done here. And before he does it, he says, think of, because he's thinking, and he's think about the bird and I'm about to bear. And that kind of like shows that he really doesn't want, like, he's done with this ninja life. He has been, and like he just wants to get back home to his wife, which I think
That's another point too.
so I really like that quote. That I don't know how you guys think about that. I thought that shows like a lot of his character early.
Well,
Oh,
that's another point too. Is that Sagari actually uses that quote, like told Gabimaru that quote changed her whole thinking, because she had so much fear come and she was just out of her mind, just fear when she drew her blade. She was hesitant to attack, hesitant to decapitate. Um, but when she heard that, because he said that out loud, he wasn't thinking, he said that out loud. And when she heard that, like, her whole mindset changed, because she was never ready to bear the burden,
Well,
and it completely changed her.
oh for sure, because you learned about her
one part
background.
I liked from Volume 1 that I thought was killer as hell. It was that I just not thought about. It was one of the times they're trying to kill him, and one of the dudes just gets too close, and like the dude's like, "You have no." I think it was like something like, "You have no weapon," or something like along the lines, "You have no weapon. What can you do?" And then he literally just takes a bite out of the dude's throat, and then like that was just it. I can't remember if it was
I think
when
that
he's like
was
captured by the guys.
That was the bloodbath free for all in front of the
Yeah,
Evil Lord.
okay, yeah, but
yeah,
he
that's
just
the
like
same
just
time.
takes a bite out of the dude's throat, and I was just like,
Yeah.
God damn, this dude's just too fucking raw.
Say they
Uh,
Yuji Kaku, the author, he does a really great job at setting up one of the best first volumes, uh, especially in that podcast we talked about compared to My Hero's first volume. This first volume, you don't see too much going on. Like they're not all about other places, but you learn a lot more about the characters, and you actually become attached to some.
That is true.
And there is two more fights I want to get to and wrap up Hell's Paradise here. We have Gabimaru versus the Tenzin,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Gabimaru and Sagura versus Rokuroto, and that's the big giant dude, the giant of bait, something like that. That fight, you see how T mentioned earlier the yin and the yang of how Gabimaru's fighting. He's like, hey, Yuzuru, you wanna help out here? You're a ninja too. She's like, I get intel. In reality, she doesn't. Senta does, with his 3,000 IQ. It seems he has. And then Sagura pops up, and Gabimaru's like, I need your help. And then they end up getting it done because Gabimaru's throwing every ninpo he knows at him. And then he's like, I have an idea. It's gonna be quite risky, but he ends up throwing the same ninpos back, which I thought was for how you see this part of his ability. It was the same ninpos back, but it's aesthetic
All
blaze
fire.
mode, and it says that each one aesthetic blaze mode, and I thought that was building up to a certain point, which we obviously see how they actually end up killing him when he ends up holding his head down and Sargre decapitates.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that fight?
I
thought it
think
was
it's a
pretty cool.
proving point to her that she can
was a
actually
great
get it done. Because like as I said before, she has like a confidence thing that she doesn't actually truly belong there at certain points. And I mean, who else really? I guess other than Gabimaru, who else really stepped up to the plate other than her? And then stepping up, she did cut the thing's head off. I mean, Gabimaru did do a lot of work to get it to that
for
point,
sure.
but
So
where she needed to be to line it up and how it needed to be done, she executed it perfectly, and that's where like they are a great team because she doesn't have like the super abilities that Gabimaru does, However, though, she has like, I guess in Demon Slayer terms, like she can see like the cutting thread or the killing thread or whatever, and she
Like the
can
spine
perfectly,
breakdown.
perfectly can just get a clean cut because it's very because like she even says like early on in the first volume, I believe that it's like an art to cleanly decapitate someone. Like you can't just do it; it's an art to it, and that's why like there's only a certain amount of people that can do it, and like her clan is known for it.
So that's a cool thing. The cool thing about that I really enjoyed about that whole fight, besides her being able to visualize the whole spine, from her from what the the C1 down to the what the like
C7.
C7, yeah, C1 to C7, and she could imagine, she's like just visual imagination, like right down the middle. But a thing that I thought was interesting about that fight is during that whole fight sequence, they did flashbacks to uh, Raku's. I'm just gonna call him Raku because his name's a mouthful to pronounce.
Rakuroda.
Okay. Raku. They do a whole flashback to Rakuroda's like upbringing, in which he's just had insatiable hunger, was overwhelmingly strong, and extremely cannibalistic. But I feel like he also probably was developmentally delayed as well, because you could see he's like wanna play. The word bubble wanna play just kept popping up. It popped up like 4 or 5 times during
He's
that whole
got it.
flashback scene.
He's still a child.
Yeah,
Like his mind just kind of stopped
yeah,
as you.
and it's saddening, but you can also understand, like, it's a life or death situation. Yeah, but he didn't. And if you think about it, he's like, he didn't know better. So I feel like if they they could have done something totally different with him, other than just killing him off. But you know, it's to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it was a good idea to kill him off because he's like one of the biggest criminals on the island, and it shows that Sagiri is capable of decapitating him.
Hmm.
Like if she
Well,
can
and I get
decapitate
that.
him, she can decapitate almost anyone on the island.
Hmm. And I get that, but it's just like, I feel I'm not gonna say that it wasn't like complete, like, it's the way the story goes, but I feel like they could have done something a little bit different with him. But I still feel like her decapitating him was a step in her growth as a character.
Going off
I
what
feel like
go
he
to.
was like the big dumb monster at some point in time that just had to go down. Like I kind of like what you were feeding off. I feel like he was her stepping stone in a
Hmm.
sense of like I can do this because I don't know. I just didn't think he was like too crazy of a character. He was just like his thing. He was just super strong, and
Yeah.
he's been doing that since like a young age. He just seems like kind of like I don't know. I definitely thought early on probably going to be one of the first bosses you see get capped, or
Hmm.
I guess not really bosses, but first like enemy to Gabby Maru and everything. And yeah, I felt like it was a good point to show how well they can work together and that she is supposed to be on this island. She's not there just because of some fluke.
Hmm.
I felt like that's how
Yeah.
that was for her.
Yeah.
I think that going off what all of you guys said, um, I don't feel like that could have been because the way he won that fight to be a like show how they fight together, stepping stone versus Sagiri. I don't think any other monster could have done it because even with how that monster is known for straight strength, even being weary of the hit, it still surprised Gamaru, but he still said, if that's all it is, I can do it. So if it was any other character that we had met up to, he could have done it on his own.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
it had to be that one. And since he was just this big brute that just could tank shots, he was a tank essentially, and it
Hmm.
took two people, that's how the author was able to make. where they fought together, she had that big moment to herself. I don't think it could have been because if you change it with the Blade Dragon, Gabimaru, he, I think he could throw hands with him on his off day. So
Mm-hmm.
that with this guy, it took all of it, and even when he was holding his head down, he's like, "I'm holding them, but my muscles won't match his for long."
Yeah.
Kind of crazy that his muscles matched it at all, but and
Well, and Gabby Mara said something about his toughness was on equal terms with the Iwagakure ninjas.
I think he's being a little bit. There's a reason he is the one ninja known from that village.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fight with Tenzin, it was a bigger fight. You see Gabimaru fight, obviously on a grander scale with one of the strongest characters that you end up beating.
Yeah.
But honestly, to me, it wasn't anything too special because he had no sleep, which obviously he was not getting. No sleep, no rest. Why he was there?
He's already been through a few battles up until
Yeah,
that point.
was constantly fighting because it was just like half
Well,
a
it was
day,
like over like
maybe a day
it was
from
over
that
like 12
previous
hour
fight.
period. Wasn't
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that fight was because he ends up putting it. Well, not him. Him and May, which is a character that before this fight, a little girl that we don't know much about, and you don't learn much about until after this one. I can get and Hoko, who kind of describes the island, how it's have it in sections.
So,
The outer section, the beaches, the forest is the Ishu. The Hoji is the village that they're in, drawing out the map, and then Korea, where the tents reside, where everyone kind of like wishes to. So the fight with Tenzin, yeah, it's when it's animated, it's gonna be beautiful, but I don't think it had a significant amount on the story besides what you find out May can do. You don't really see it, but like it's to me, it was kind of like a Dragon Ball Z type beam ish shot that she did to save Gabby Mark. And that's
No, I don't. Was it a beam or did she put up a protective barrier?
well, she puts them in their state like right before death. Their Kashiki state, which they have to drink the elixir of life to even. Definitely, I don't think it was a protective barrier. I think it was because he was
Okay.
withered old man, like crippling
Well,
depression type
he
beat
went and
after
he
that
just
fight.
turned into a giant flower monster
That
after
is
him and Gabby Maru just
find out the name of that later.
bodied each other up.
Daniel, do you remember that one? Name of it. Is that their I think that is their yeah, because he forced them to the Kashiki state and then she hits him in that state because that's like their like strongest form, they're like kind of like last resort type thing, even though they can go in and out of it. But I think it's the hit he took while in that is why. But you guys can add on to that fight. I don't know. Talk about that fight, but
my thing about the fight, I thought it was probably see I like Dragon Ball Z, but it was really it was reminiscent. It was kind of nostalgic for me in a sense, based off of what I've seen in the past when it comes to certain fighting action anime and manga. But it was really cool to see that Mario is just like straight up. He's just like, this is not a fight of who can kill who. Right? It's an endurance fight. He said this is a holy endurance fight, and he was getting they were bodying each other up. That's why the Tenzin had to turn into his flower monster form.
I think that it wouldn't have been much endurance fight if Gabby Maru because once they met May and Hoka, he told he laid out the map of village. He was gone, disappeared in the night.
Yeah,
I don't think he sleeps up to this.
not at all.
Oh, I think that this is kind of like a because obviously you see more of him, but
No, of
this
course.
like not resting is kind of like his character to let other kind of shine and just kind of not power creep the kind of keep him.
Yeah.
I feel like
Because he could, if they wanted him just to walk across that aisle and everything, they probably could.
like
But,
exactly.
yeah.
If they like with the information that they have gotten up to this point, there's a very realistic chance he could
Mhm.
take on. Especially he could take out most of this.
Yeah. And another thing I remember from that scene in the manga is like instead of like punches, he kicks the Tenzin like I think it was like what is like an axe kick or something, and the Tenzin actually like felt it. That's when he started like getting into it.
Hmm. So he definitely lays
So
into him. His
oh
hits
yeah,
are definitely.
100%. Yeah. Daniel, you got anything about that?
I think the fight was pretty good. I mean, kind of
Say
shows the level of the Tenzin, kind of shows the level of Gabby Maru. Uh,
perfect.
yeah, it also shows that Mei is different. She's not like anyone else on the island. And obviously, Hoko, who is following Mei around, is a walking and talking tree. So
Yeah, he's like a
no,
bonsai man or something is what they
Yeah, I
obviously
say.
forgot to mention that
there's some
Hoko
things
was
going on.
but he
it's
was.
literally Groot.
Yeah,
I
it's
am
Gru, but
Groot.
kind of gross looking.
Yeah, he's like because he's weathering
Making
because
big
he
natural
says once
sentences.
they reach that form, their last goal is to get to Kaori or outside the gates of and get into that kind of like
Mhm.
the religion.
Like the statues in a sense. Um,
Anything else?
uh, yeah. The I don't know while I was gone whether or not you talked about what the tangerine meant in the first
No.
volume. Okay, okay. So cool thing I realized is that so they call the elixir of life tan. That's where you get the tangerine from.
They use
But
humans to make tan.
they use humans to make it. They use dead humans to make it. So I thought that was really that was interesting. It wasn't so, like it wasn't what I expected at all. I thought it was gonna be like like some magical golden tangerine or whatever, sitting in a tree somewhere. But that just took it for a whole 180 for me. Just like nope.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was like super interesting. It's an interesting point. And the thing is, like they heard the tan from going back to volume one when they got the only person to ever come back from there alive or technically alive. I mean, he was kind of like getting turned into like a tree or something like that, or plants. He was all bubbled up and lumpy and
He's
had lesions
blossoming.
over his body. Yeah, blossoming.
Blooming.
That's but he's the one who told him tangerine or he said tan, so they were he probably said tan and they were just trying to figure out like what it was because he probably got cut off mid sentence because his mouth probably got shut pretty well with that blooming. Um, so I thought that was pretty cool about that. Um, did you talk about the religion aspects too?
Uh, no, but I don't want to go too much into that because you learn a lot more about it. We could say
Mm-hmm.
what the religion's a mixture of, which is Buddhism, Taoism. I feel like we should save it for next time we
Buddhism.
cover. Next time we cover, um,
Hell's
Paradise
Paradise.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Uh, else
You guys want to rate the first 3 volumes?
I can't. I finished this. It's gonna be hard.
Okay.
I can tell you what I rate the
Well,
series. Give it a
that's
number without
fine.
jumping in.
That's fine.
9.5.
9.5. Okay.
To
So since I
Yuri Ujiku. Bonkers.
Mhm. Okay.
I
So
like
since
I
I
like
only
the
read
ending.
the
I didn't
first
like the last
volume,
chapter too much.
since I only read the first 3 volumes, from what I've seen, uh, there's a continuity issue that I saw in the second volume. To me, it was, but it,
What, T
you know,
Dub? You just
You
cut out
went
so
you went
much there.
Megatron mode. No Calvin
I
Johnson
want
either.
Megatron.
They try that again. Oh, so you say there's
So
continuity issue, which you addressed
yeah,
before. They just in case you cut
yeah. So
out.
the yeah, yeah. So the continuity issue for me, um, it is what it is. It allows us to meet all the other characters. But when you're on one chapter and you go to the next one, you're expecting getting Mario to pop up and still be that portion, and then you get something completely different. It kind of threw me off a bit, but all in all, I like it so far. I'm gonna give it, in my humblest opinion, it's an opinion, not a fact. It's an opinion. My humblest opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a solid 7 for the first 3.
Daniel.
I'd probably give the first 3 like in
You can do what
9.
you know, knowing, having that.
What I
future
know,
insight,
I'd say a 9 too.
that
I
future
feel
sight,
like it's all just pretty
like
good.
you can't really block it out when you're judging it.
Mm-hmm.
To go off what T-Dub was saying, T-Dub, I think that's just them showing what everybody else
That's
is
what I was
doing.
thinking.
at
He's been
that
watching
time.
anime
That's
for
what I'm
17
saying.
years at this point almost.
But
That's anime. That's just
I think they're
manga
just, I think
too.
they're, I think they're
those
just
people.
showing what everybody else is doing at that moment
Well,
in time.
and yeah, that's what I
I
was
would
saying.
I'd give this a 9.5 because this is probably one of my favorite ones. If once this gets animated, could easily take my top anime chart, I guess, list.
But it'd be
That's
like
because
Tom
word.
Brady right in the middle. I don't know how many people watch this. No, go. It's not go to me, but it's definitely a great series.
Yeah, I think it's pretty insane.
Yeah, T-Dub.
I thoroughly enjoy. I
Before we
thoroughly
move
enjoyed
on,
it.
I'm gonna say that pizza. They got, because like I said before, when you mentioned it, like in Hunter x Hunter Palace Invasion,
T-Dub,
it's all like a 2-minute span type. Like I
Yeah.
think it's a little bit longer, but
No,
they
and I
have to
get
go
that.
back to show what happened in a different part of the island, so that when they all end up getting to the
that's what I'm
center,
saying.
how they all got there. You got to see the past of how they meet.
That's what I'm saying is like I enjoy it. I thought because it was just like I wasn't expecting them to like jump into the other characters like that, but I understand why they did that.
Oh,
T-Dub, what did you give my hero out of curiosity?
hold
If
on,
you
you gave
remember.
it a 7 though.
I gave it a 7.5 because I
Oh my!
thoroughly enjoy it.
Ooh,
I told you.
We might get some
in the
hate for
chat.
hating on My Hero, but like I like
that
the
is
story.
a hot take.
My Hero needs to get me interested in the
Yikes.
characters.
That's fine.
That's a
But
yikes
I
moment,
said-
bro.
Well,
Yikes.
I said the anime will make it or break it for me. I told you that.
This
in the
series
chat.
is not a make or break from animation. I promise you
He had to
that.
get up and walk away from that one.
That's fine.
He needs a stress ball now. God dang. Oh, what did you rate My Hero? I give My Hero a 4.5 so far. The character's dragging down. This isn't My Hero though. This isn't. But
Yeah.
Pick
So-
a character
so-
from this series. They are walking.
it's not.
You
They
put
don't have.
Gabimaru.
They don't have to
in
walk
My
through My
Hero?
Hero.
That's not what I'm getting at, though.
They don't have to walk through My Hero. It's just
I don't
they're
even
just
care.
better character development so far.
They're just better. Everything about Hell's Paradise is just better than My Hero.
And this is coming from a Marvel's fan, so he likes the
to be
superhero
fair, though,
aesthetic.
Yeah,
So
I like
fair,
the superhero
the
aspect.
pacing of Hell's Paradise, you kind of have to learn about the characters quicker. Because My Hero is a little bit slower series, so I'm
Also
going to give it that kind of credit.
has
I will say
triple
this,
the amount of
from
chapters right now, or like the one releasing this week or next week, is over triple the amount of the 127. They're on like almost 400. They're coming up on.
I know, but we aren't there yet. We only did the.
That's what I'm
first
saying.
one
That's
of
what
My
I'm saying. The
Hero.
pacing.
I'm just saying.
They have time. He saw a broader future.
Yeah.
He saw like a Naruto type length.
Hell's Paradise just moves
Oh.
quicker, so I'm going to give it that credit.
I
I
think Hell's
will
Paradise. Oh, sorry.
say this. I will just say this. I don't see My Hero ever capping Hell's Paradise. It's gonna be
It
straight up
doesn't.
honest.
Yeah, it might not for you.
When
It might not for you. I'm
but-
just
for-
saying that we got to give it some time.
But-
For
to
my-
kinda-
No, I've
anime-
already said that. I like the story. I like the story of My Hero. The characters are just fucking mid as hell to me, and I think every
They are.
character in this, if we want to talk about it, they could all be A tier. They really could. There's a few B tiers in there, but everybody in My Hero, in my opinion, is fucking D tier. Like I don't care. Like there's.
I think
It's just not,
Okay,
like, I'm
this
sorry.
isn't My Hero discussion, but I think Bakugo's a fine character. I like him. So far.
I
But
do. if he turns evil, that's the only way I think I'm really gonna like him. He has to do a full heel
The
turn.
the way I see this is the author kind of set this as like, because when you look at older series, they're longer, yes, but like Naruto, the characters are it's kind of characters first and then story. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it
Yeah.
looked like it thought there's some bug. So it's like characters, like they develop the characters as they're developing this. My Hero is
Mhm.
kind of like developing the story and like yeah, these are the characters, but this is the story. Hell's Paradise is this. These are the characters. This is what they are. Their backstory is for some of them. This is why they're here. This is the story. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's similar in most older animes, like Hunter x Hunter. It was started writing in the 90s. Yu Yu Hakusho. You kind of learn you grow. The characters grow with the story. My Hero so far, don't slander us just because we are still in volume 1. But I feel like the story's going way faster. Besides Deku, none of the other characters are really like Bakugo's set up to be like a main character, but like he's not. Don't see that much of him. As much as you
Oh, no.
did in Volume 1 of Naruto. You learn about Sasuke, Sakura, Kaji. Well,
You can throw it to
yeah,
Kaiju too.
so
Saying with Reno, Reno was showing promise early.
those characters. There's so many characters. Whoa! What was up? What was that, Daniel? I saw
I mean,
you.
I don't really agree with you. I don't feel like the story in My Hero is going faster than the characters.
What do you?
Because
I honestly feel like
both,
it's developed.
I feel like only Deku is
story-
going at like the story is trying to get to a certain point, and it's kind of like dragging the characters along. Besides
think about
Deku,
it like this, okay? Think about it like this. We just got to a point where there's other characters in My Hero.
Mhm.
you learn about Bakugo at the very beginning.
Yes, because he went to school with Bakugo, but there's
But
more
they have a
characters that
history.
we just got introduced to, and we learn about their history.
One of those characters we got introduced to.
No, I
looked
understand.
lame
I understand.
as hell.
I'm saying, I'm not talking about that. I understand the characters look bad to you. I'm talking about the point where Daniil's saying the story is going faster than the characters.
Could just be me.
I
but
disagree because we just learned about the characters.
I feel like,
Like
characters that we've
we're
known
so
about.
early in. I feel like we just got to give it some breathing
It
room.
seems
right?
like
The
it's setting a
story
precedent
has
where
not been bad.
Yeah,
I
the
love
story
I
hasn't
like
been
the
bad.
story a lot,
I
but
think the
I feel
story,
like
I think the
it's,
story's been good.
I feel like
I
with
feel
the
like there's
characters
a
setting
lot
a
of
precedent where
room.
if it's not All Might or Deku in the future, then
Mhm.
the other characters, like, they're obviously gonna have good fights. But I feel like when it comes to the big bad villains, it's gonna be All Might, Deku, or Buzz. That's how
Well,
I'm getting it. That's how I'm
and the
feeling
thing,
already.
And the thing is, these ratings are subject to change. They're just first opinions, and honestly, I'll probably change
Oh, you
both
will.
of them
You'll
eventually.
definitely change Hell's Paradise. I've heard
I
a lot
just
of
don't
great
want to
things
give
about
My
Hero.
Hero too bad of a shake right now
No,
because we're only in volume one.
I have been excited to continue. That's why when we postponed that last recording, I was like, I want to My Hero. First of all, I want to get
Yeah,
Todoroki. Todoroki
I
is
like
like he might make or break the series for me. If he's not what he's been hyped up to be, I'm gonna be hurt. But Bakugo is really cool, so I think that Bakugo will kind of hold that down for me. But yeah, that's just me. I get where you're coming from, Daniel, but since they are, but I feel like the characters that we have met, I don't know, and they're introducing so many at one time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he just got thrown into a school
Yeah.
where they all go.
That is true, and the all that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
this
that
is
was
like
that was a little My Hero bridge.
little rant.
That was Paradise, My Hero, and then all right. So Phantom Seer, this was one. So like we talked about last week, Tia and Daniel wanted to stay as their kind of their idea to start My Hero. I know T doesn't want to take the rap for that because not what we thought it was gonna be so far. But I thought I wanted Claymore and T wanted Phantom Seer.
So
think of a good way to start Phantom Seer.
I haven't read it in about a week. So
That's why that's why we got some bullet points. I got. It's hard to remember all the stuff we're reading over and
Yeah,
everything.
we'll just
especially
go
when we got
over
jobs
kind
and
of like an overview of Phantom Seer because I'm sure not a lot of people know about it. I mean, I never knew about it before it was brought up.
Yeah, we'll go to overview and then I have some points written down. So like, if you guys don't remember the points, might jog it and then we'll.
Yeah.
So you meet this girl, Riku. Like helping people so much, and it just happens that when I'm around, people need helping. And then kind of quick, it's like a couple pages in, you meet Aori. At the beginning, he's called Katsunagi, last name. And he's like, well, sorry to break it to you, but you're the one causing these bad things to happen. It's really not you being helpful and just being in the right place at the right time. You're kind of just a curse, or they end up calling her beckoning hand.
Yeah, didn't
Later.
they think in the beginning that she was cursed? And then they realized that she attracts the curses?
Yeah, they thought that
she's a beckoning
phantoms.
Yeah, the
Phantoms.
phantoms.
It's not
Yeah.
curse. Jujutsu Kaisen.
And
Come
that,
on,
that,
man.
Say,
that's
come
a,
on,
that's
man.
the thing.
What's
JJK.
the
That's the
difference,
thing
This
that
is
I
not on level
thought at-
JJK. Let's.
Yeah. Well, so let me get this out. So when I first read it, I was like, it's okay. It's got a lot of little points between. It's got some influence from JJK, and it's got some influence from Blue Exorcist from what I've seen.
It'll be bonkers.
It's
It's released before.
I'm pretty sure this released before JJK.
JJK has on chapter 199 just released the second. I don't know. This one is only 4 volumes deep. While you look that up, I'll continue on the story a little bit. So Iori is like, he calls his sister Miss Yout.
The Phantom
Yo
Seer
yo
only has
yo.
3
I
chapters.
butchered this.
Yo Yai?
Yo Yai. We'll call it Yo Yai.
It's got
We call it Yo Yo if you
4 volumes.
look up the release
we
date of chapter 1.
We just need the date.
So Miss Yo Yai is his sister. She's like, you end up learning she's like the top shaman is what Iori is. Kind of like what the Phantom Fighters, like people who fight phantoms are shamans. And he's kind of like lazy is what you get the case of, but you realize he's really strong and he's tired of it. He's done with life. He just
Phantom
wants to have a
Seer
normal life.
came out this year in March.
You already are you sure that's not just volume 1 that released? Chapter 1. Because the volumes are released.
That's volume is so that's volume 1, but it's published by Crunchyroll.
Was it?
It's already been canceled and shit too.
Not canceled.
No, it's
Yeah,
already been. It got canceled. Look it up.
We'll finish it. Volume.
Yeah.
But so with this story, that's kind of a damper. You
didn't know that?
You guys want to talk about your favorite characters? I'm joking. No, Phantom Seer is I thought it was kind of repetitive the way they went about the things, but the character you learn that he's not a lazy kid, he's tired of this life, he just wants to be a normal kid. Riku and Miss Yaoya is kind of bossing him around. He tries to say no, but at the end of the day, he can't tell her no. So Iori ends up going to this train where Riku thought she saw a phantom. She didn't know what it was at the time. She thought it was a ghost. But where she saw it, you learn about how phantoms kind of, not really in this exact one, but like portals, the different dimensions open. And she gets sucked in by an Okabu, is the phantom. It's a giant floating head. And he goes in, and this is where you learn that when his sister says, like, he's strong, he just needs a little motivation. He whips out the strongest phantom that no one was able to defeat. But with his ability, the phantoms he defeats, he can use. And he summons it. And it's called an Ongayoki. I have them all right now. But so the Ongayoki has the aesthetic of a, what's the name?
Oni.
An Oni, yes. I was about to ask you what the Dead by Daylight character was. But he has the aesthetic of an Oni, and he later hints that if you summon it without a target, it'll kill you.
It's taking something with
Say
it.
it's not coming
care.
out for free. It's kind of like how Manda gets pissed at Orochimaru, but that's spoilers, so I don't want to get into that.
So this is what I got. So Phantom Seer was originally a one-shot released in 2017, the first chapter, but
Mostly one shot.
It didn't get serialized till 2020. While Jujutsu Kaisen
Older
was
no
20. It was serialized in 2018.
The one shot for volume 0, which was originally the Everybody Changed.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Jujutsu Kaisen is a sequel. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, the original Jujutsu Kaisen story. which is on Crunchyroll. T-Dub and
One thing
T,
I
you need
did
you
like
need to watch it.
about Phantom Seer, when the sister is talking about him, it's like talking about how he needs a little bit of motivation, and she's like, "Well, you call me a monster, but you happen to be one yourself, or like you have the biggest one caged up. So like, basically, what does that make you?" And
Like, I'm a monster and I
feel,
enjoy it. You're a monster and you don't want to be no more.
yeah, she's just, I just thought it was kind of cool how she was like, but you're also one too. So like, what gives? Like, why am I getting shit for this
Like,
all the time?
settle down, Pimp. Like,
Yeah,
we're
you're
really like
also
even keel right now. Because
yeah.
he listens to her, and her ultimatum is, "You can stop listening to me when you're stronger than me."
Mm-hmm.
That's, but until then, you're gonna keep following this girl around, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how the story sets up the
Yeah,
world.
he's kind of like a bodyguard.
Yeah, because she instructs him. Like, he thought it was like one, boom, done.
Mhm.
Miss Yo-Yo's like, "I'm calling you." Miss Yo-Yo's like,
Yo-yo.
"Nah, you're gonna stay with her." He's
You're gonna
like,
hang
"But
Because it's
I
out.
kind of
don't
it's part of
want
the
to."
shaman group. Like, if you find a beckoning hand, you have to protect them because they
Yeah.
attract the phantoms, and their whole goal as shaman is to eradicate the
That's
phantoms.
why he
So,
wants to be.
So a cool thing that I remember that I actually is like this is pretty neat is that even though she's a beckoning hand, she wants to be able to hold her own. So Iori's not always saving her ass because
That
she
just
says
isn't
that.
gonna happen. But I do,
Yeah, yeah,
you leave her
because
with a phantom, it's over. She's
if she
beast.
would run on that train by herself, she's in the story.
Gonzo.
Roll credits.
hmm
Yeah, I feel like
Do the
well,
end
that
for
was
Star
me,
Wars
Phantom
music.
Seer so far it's pretty good. It's kind of repetitive, but in a non-repetitive way, I guess. Because so far they just keep going doing the same thing. They're fighting phantoms, but the phantoms are changing. So we are seeing there's quite a few different variety of phantoms. But
and
for me, it's kind
you
of like they're just doing fetch quests.
That's
so
what I think.
uh,
And I have down that we want to cover the story, but cover the
um
Phantoms that will overlap with. Go ahead, Tito.
so
Yeah.
I just wanted to say,
so
like, that's what we'll get
uh,
into.
cool thing about Iori is that any phantom he defeats, he can summon.
I do have that marked down
You-
next to him. The shadows, his abilities. He can take Phantoms. The
Mhm.
shadow projection. Talk about, and the shadow step, and the next.
Yeah.
See anything you want to add on? Iworries?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so the first Phantom. Take these off. Hurt my head. The first Phantom is the Yando Shaguyu, which is an octopus type Phantom. So chapter 2 starts out there back at school, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't have to deal with you." She's like, "But your sister said." He said, "I left my phone at home, so I don't gotta listen to her." And then, boo doo 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 doo, right on Riku's phone, she calls like, "Hey, why can't I get in touch with you?" He's like, I don't know. I think I forgot my phone or something." So you just like, there's that kind of like comedy, but like, it didn't really make me laugh. I thought it was kind of necessary, but obviously you guys could think. But
no, that's understandable.
there's this girl that is keep getting drawn to the classroom that Riku and Iori has been meeting, and they talk to her, and she explains it to. And when they're leaving one day, they hear like this calling. Riku does, and she sees that because she saw the girl heading back to the school, and then she ends up going in the big dimension classroom, and that's when you
hmm
the goddess Shigu is um Riku and Iori are outside. Bless you,
Thank
and
you.
the door kind of don't want to walk in because tentacles are everywhere. But you learn about Shadow Step, which I always move, where he can
Tentacle form?
suppress his presence almost completely and become a shadow. Which at the beginning of the chapter, he's not sitting in the chair, but then he pops up when she
Mm.
realizes, like, oh, that's probably what he was doing.
Yeah, he
Crazy.
says it. Like it takes his like, I guess like the sense of him down to like a glimmer. Like that's all you'd be able to sense is just a glimmer of him.
Yeah, I think that's pretty dope.
There's another series that I thought that kind of. So yeah, when you see that, I think that his abilities are definitely cool. I
Yeah,
think
and
I think that's when you
Were
see
you
him use
thinking of
the.
Demon Slayer?
I think that's when you see his ability to shadow use phantoms that he's defeated
Mm.
because you see
'Cause
the
he summoned,
Okabu summon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Okabu like literally chomps down on that fucking octopus.
Yes, that is exactly when because she's like, why didn't you just summon Okayoki? Like, well, if it comes out,
Drains my
it's
life
killing
force.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So she would have died. So he summons her and then gets out the door while it's distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see if Oak has a little pouch of the cards or something. But I'm interested to see how he will use it, even though you never see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I'm not
that
sure if it's a one-time use or not.
it doesn't say. Say chapter 2 was kind of like it's kind of like a fetch quest. It's
Yeah.
showing you the different type of phantoms, but kind of to me a boring.
Yeah.
I think it's. I didn't really find it boring, but
This
after
just the concept of them going. Oh,
Mhm.
they're
yeah,
here. They do this. It's a phantom. Kind of
yeah,
like they're
the
detectives right
mission
now.
aspect is kind of boring, but the fighting is pretty cool.
If there was a video game, I would have dropped
Especially,
it. Like,
yeah. And then after the tentacle, we get to was it the mirror
I
next?
think
It's-
it's
Or is it the
no,
house?
it's the tree.
it's
the
the
house.
house with the Saka Bashiri, which upside down, and that's where you meet Yujiro Sataki. That's the note,
Yeah.
Man.
bro.
Which
Yeah.
I thought the tree phantom was pretty interesting because they talk about like what draws it to houses. And it says when they put the posts in the house, if they put the post in upside down from how the tree stood, that can draw the phantom to the house.
And the whole house is a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
after that.
And it personifies as a little girl in a window.
Yep,
believe
that's
as
how it
well.
draws people.
Yeah, to get people in there.
But that one's not really too. That one's not crazy.
You know. Yeah.
You guys can talk
no,
about that one.
it's kind of tame, honestly. When it comes to this, I think chapter 4 is a little bit more, action packed and entertaining comparative to what we witnessed in the first 3 chapters. But
Yeah, I feel like the house phantom is kind of interesting to me, at least because it shows what the phantoms can actually do in the human world. Like they're not just like ghouls or like ghosts. They can take forms of huge houses. Like they can be the entire house.
ghosts and goblins, man, ghosts and goblins.
Yeah, I feel like it's just that's kind of an interesting aspect of the series is
Hey,
just the diversity of the phantoms.
the lore you're learning about is interesting. It's
Just
I don't want to.
it's not
This
really
could have been
pieced
like
together in a very
yeah, like
Well, and
entertaining way.
the way they like. For example, we haven't covered this. That's they kind of have the same type of things, but that way is a lot like obviously House isn't it a lot more interesting. That one is done,
Yeah.
in comparative to the. But T, you want to add to that one? The House, there's not really much. Like I don't even really have. And
No. Yeah, it felt like more challenge, I guess, to read this one. I don't like it was harder to concentrate on it personally. Like I didn't think it was bad. It just like you guys were saying, it just always felt like it was just like repetitive as hell. But it's something that they could definitely like break out of for sure. It just kind of worrisome knowing that it is canceled and everything.
that's why I'm like, dang. Like,
But
if it's canceled, that's gonna be rough.
well, it got a good 4 volumes out of it, so
yeah, but yeah, I mean, they could definitely take
Volumes
it other ways. Yeah, I just kind of hope they get away from like the what you were saying, Daniel, the fetch quest repetitiveness. But we'll see. It's not bad though.
Yeah, I
not
feel like
bad
where we
episode.
left off, because the last thing that we were going to talk about for the Phantoms is the Mirror Phantom, and that one was kind of boring as well, in my opinion. I mean, it was a little more different than the other Phantoms just because it takes you into like the mirror dimension, and there's different Mirror Phantoms inside of it. But
I could not find a name for the mirror. I was searching that whole couple those because I think that covers 4.
I did think it was kind of
No,
weird
4
that
and 5.
the Mirror Phantom only shows up if you disgrace the mirror, if you
Yeah.
draw on it, or if you like damage it in any way. I thought that was kind of weird because why would the Phantom even be a thing? I mean,
Yeah.
99% of the time it's just sitting
And-
there, and then the one time a kid writes on it, it's like, you're mine now.
And it shows up as like a demonic kid. And I know it seems like we're jumping around this story. This is how it's like. This is how you read.
Yeah,
this is how
they
it's
literally
written.
go from one Phantom to another.
Like
It's-
that. Like
there's
they
not
end
a
up
lot in between.
like, and then you meet Kenma, and when they fight the Mirror Phantom, I kind of like his ability. I like kind of like his character.
Tengu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How they
Yeah,
the
the-
3 things they form,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be pretty strong. Just like you said, it's weird. Like I already knows about the Phantoms because Charles on it. It gets it shows up. They get pulled inside, and then you realize that it's trying to trick people. The reflections. That's how Kenma tells Iori apart, and how Iori tells that it's not Kenma and Riku. Iori's by himself, and the
Yeah,
I
person
thought that
you
was one of
see
the
is
cooler
reflected.
parts. Yeah, I thought that was one of the
cool.
cooler parts.
And the thing, this is where I got that little bit of Blue Exorcist from, is because of Kenma's character design. Looks a lot like Ren's older brother, or I think that's what it was. With the the Buddhist staff, if I'm correct. I don't think I'm correct.
Well, we don't know if
But-
you're correct.
I
We
don't know anything
nothing
about
Blue
Blue
Exorcist.
Exorcist.
That's another one we gotta cover.
Yeah, I think the guy with the Tengu is actually pretty cool. I
And
like
how
the
him and
Tengu
Iori
too
are
because they're like against each other, but they're also pretty good fighting together.
And Iori calls him a babysitter.
Yeah.
No, I'm not babysitting, but like you see on screen, it's like this is one of the comedy things I thought was kind of funny. It's like he kind of is babysitting these balls.
Mm-hmm. Which I like the Tengu a lot. I don't know about you guys.
No, I thought that
think
was
they
cool.
give some good comedy to the series, just because all the Tengu just act like little infants. Like if they don't get enough attention, they'll be like bawling their eyes out, or they'll be like licking each other or
They're
something.
little gremlins.
Because then he
Yeah.
apologized for not having him out in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this
sorry,
is
guys, I haven't given you attention.
and then you see another cool move. It's a shadow projection, and that's how he gets his shadow sword, and he can dump more of his shadow into it. But I'm pretty sure it leaves him. So Tenma is fighting, trying to weaken it. I'm pretty sure he hits a shot to weaken it with the staff, drawing from the power of the Tengu, and then there's just shadow projections, dark swords. I mean, it kind of takes a hint from the dark saber.
Yeah. After the Mirror Phantom, they go back to the shaman headquarters.
Well, they go to Miss Yaoyo said, "Hey, bring him home." They go to an empty lot.
Yeah, because
they were just like, wait, we can't bring Riku there. She's not a shaman.
Well, Riku's got the
That's where you
that
find out
injury on
the
her hand.
name for the beckoning hand. Miss Yo-Yo, Yao Ming lady needs to heal her.
Mm-hmm.
She said like she took a bath. It's like a magical bath or whatever, and it healed her.
It's when you're there. This is where the story.
It's getting kind of interesting.
Gets good.
I feel like
where it starts to. It's like I was the whole time I was reading. I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'm not. I was at a point I was reading it because this is like what we assigned to read. It's like it felt like homework. All the other series haven't felt like homework. When I'm reading Phantom Seer, I'm like, I pause. Like when I sit down to read a chapter, unless I have to go somewhere, I'm not pausing. I'm finishing it. But this was like, I cut off. I was like even My Hero, I was like drawn in the whole time, and I still want to read more. But this, I was like, read this. Like I really don't want to read this right now. So
I feel like it'll pick up maybe.
Well,
it's
it
about
is gonna pick
to
up.
because with the beckoning, she's been hearing this like she thought it was her tummy grumbling. Been hearing a little grumble, and then she realizes
She's
it's
hearing
from
the rumbling.
The
from
whole
I
realm is
wish it was the
shaking because
rumbling.
That would be
the
a big
shadows
twist.
are awake and
There's
I
this big
hope
abyss that they
the
cross
end
over
of chapter 4 is fucking Aaron just smashing their city,
and then leaving and
and then just leaving, and then just bouncing.
That's
So
why
when
got
they get
canceled.
to the mansion, we skip the part where they're crossing this bridge to the mansion. There's this big abyss. He says, "There's a big abyss. Don't look into it too long. You're gonna get sucked in." So this kind of like spooks them. But when she hears this grumbling, it turns out that's where it's coming from. And he just, in typical Iori fashion, just failed to mention that they keep Phantom's prison now. Why they keep him in prison after what I'm about to tell you?
I think it's the ones they can't kill, right?
I would agree with you, but that's Cap. Because when they come
is
out,
Cap, yeah.
Ms. Yao Ming pops up and he's like, well, she's going to have fun because we may defeat him, but she erased him from existence.
Well,
If
didn't he
she
say that they can't kill them and she's not going to kill them? She's just going to erase them from existence?
If she could do
That's
that,
the same thing.
why store them? Why keep this
fun?
threat in this pit like
her
the
pet,
pits of
man.
Tartarus? Like Kronos
It's
being
her
thrown
pet,
in,
man.
Kronos being in the pit of Tartarus, that's exceptional. He literally can't die. But if she can erase them from existence, why keep them?
I don't
Well,
know.
she
Maybe
can't-
This is where the story gets interesting, but
Mhm.
that's a flaw. That's like, I see why you got canceled. I don't know. I don't know. I'm
maybe
interested
we'll
to keep
learn that
reading.
maybe she can't do it that often, or like
He
it takes
literally
a lot
showed
out
up
of her
and
to
said
do
she's
it.
about to have play.
Well, the thing is
Well,
that she
obviously,
had
she
to
likes to
use
massacre
Iori's
things.
shadows to be able to use that much power. They had to team up together. They did like a shadow. It was like a shadow rain or something. And
Did
it-
they?
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't
see
think they
no
did.
ability happen in
I
chapter
think it
7.
just showed a big eyeball in the sky
She kind of just pops up. Like
Yeah.
the phantoms are the giant like circle things.
because Riku was standing there as they were climbing up, and Riku's like, "Wait, I something's coming that's even more dangerous than those." And he's like, "Oh, you got good intuition. That's my sister."
Yeah. And then that's where it ends. Like when he says she's gonna erase him from. When he says she's gonna, like,
Yeah, which
I
I'm
don't-
hoping it's pretty good,
don't
and I'm
get it.
hoping it drags that part on because that's going to be a cool part. But
how does she erase him from existence? But they store him in a pit. If the
We'll
Greek
see.
gods could have killed Kronos, they wouldn't have chopped him up and thrown him in a pit.
maybe she just likes to keep pets, bro.
I don't know.
Never think about
Maybe they fled down there and they can't go down there themselves, but a beckoning hand brings them out. I
that.
don't know.
Maybe.
Say that Phantom Seer, I enjoyed it a lot more before we talked about it, to be honest. And going over it again, like
I have a
I don't know.
headache.
I don't have
I
a
didn't mind
headache,
it.
but
I kind of liked reading it. I mean, I got a little annoyed at some parts that were kind of
every part before chapter 6.
Kind of, but I also like the Phantoms.
The Phantoms
thought the fights
are
were
the
pretty cool.
redeeming factor. The main characters, Irie's really strong, which is always cool, but like I'm not a hook to any of these characters.
No, okay. So it's chapter 8 is
We
when
didn't
they
read
do
chapter
that.
8.
Oh, I did.
Well, we did not.
Read chapter 52 of Kaiju, T-Dub. Got you. I'm on chapter 65. Wait a minute.
Well, next episode that we talk about Phantom Seer, we'll know what T-Dub already knows.
That's a
Mm.
strong word.
I said
Yeah.
next episode we talk about Phantom Seer.
I said
not
next
the
is a
next podcast,
strong
but
word.
maybe the one after.
I don't know.
Ah,
Phantom
chapter-
Seer, I'm
yeah.
intrigued with this last chapter. It's just, damn, it's a lot of.
Yeah,
If there's
I
one
see
more
what
fetch
did.
quest, I might
read
drop it.
one chapter. I read one chapter. And
I won't drop it. I'll finish what we said we were gonna read. We'll talk about
It's
it.
only 4 volumes, so it's not like too big of a task for us.
No, like the
I would say we can
biggest-
cook it out, but how much I was not enjoying. Like I enjoyed it, but I was getting bored reading. I don't want to.
Mhm.
Dang, I don't
Well,
want to.
who knows
It-
what
it
the next
seems
volume will
volume
hold.
volume 2 is 8 chapters, and volume 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and then volume 4 is only 4
Tito, your
because
face
it
looks
got
like
canceled.
Jesus is bending over in front. Okay, it's not now because you closed the tab. But say, yeah, Phantom Steer is. It's It out of the series we're
It's
going over right
it's
now, Hell's Paradise, My
I think
Hero,
it's lower than
Claymore.
mid.
I think it's the Phantoms are redeeming for sure.
Mhm.
I think we have our clear top 2 series though, with Kaiju and Hells.
a while before you catch up on.
I know, but
But out of the ones we're covering
What's
like
next?
consistently, I'd say Claymore and Hells are the Phantom Steer. I would put it before. The characters are, eh. The story is repetitive. It looks like it's about to pick up, but what I've heard off of two pages, I can't higher the score much.
No, it's below mid, so I'm gonna give it an A4 as well.
I'm definitely
Maybe
with me giving it a 4. I'll
give it a
bump My
2.
Hero up to 5.5 because I can't, in good faith, keep it only 0.5 above.
No, I'm
Phantom Steer.
gonna.
My Hero is
You know
definitely
what?
better than Phantom.
I'm gonna drop it even further. I'm gonna give it a 2.
I would give
Nice.
Phantom Seer a 6.
hey, this is controversial what I'm about to say, but I probably think might be a little better than My Hero.
And then this guy,
Not story wise,
his story carries a series.
but
Dude,
character
there's
wise,
like 3 characters that I have
probably
seen.
about even.
There's like 3
I think the
characters in
story is a
anime
little
that can
repetitive,
carry
but-
a series with a bad story. I think Gojo could carry a story with a bad series, and maybe 2, and Itachi. Like if there's,
I don't
it
know.
could carry a series with a bad story. Those 2 characters, in my opinion, those are my 2 favorite characters. But
Don't view these that high. I guess I don't know. I think Phantom Seer could get cooler. I don't know. I guess it's just different. So I guess that's kind of a little bit intriguing to me. It's definitely still not really the greatest,
that's
but it could be better than My Hero.
this guy
But
likes
My
to
Hero
just
does
say
have
what
a-
everyone knows.
Hey, but
My Hero is definitely gonna pick up.
My Hero
Oh, yeah.
could, yes.
It doesn't get a
pick up,
following
story
this
could get
big,
better.
and he doesn't keep writing. And if it wasn't, so I have hope for My Hero. He just wait till Todoroki. You're like Todoroki, I promise. I can't say that because I just know his abilities.
I'm waiting for Aaron to pull up and kill her.
Well, maybe if
Well,
Apple
T, you're gonna be a little disappointed.
wasn't stroking off Attack on Titan.
What?
If they weren't milking the teats of Attack on Titan,
If there wasn't
finished
7
it.
parts of the final season, then maybe
Literally,
you'd
you're
say-
like halfway into 33, volume 30, maybe 33 and 34. They're great. I cried during volume 34,
new
but
chapter of Kaiju number 8 comes out in 8 days.
yeah, that's not enough.
So T, what's your rating of Phantom Seer?
I'd give it a 5.
My Hero.
Mid.
I think like a 4.5.
I bumped it up
Well-
because I gave Phantom Seer a 4, and in good faith, I cannot keep My Hero that close. The story is so much better. Deku's not a terrible character. Bakugo is nothing but positives. That's about it. All Might, like
Right.
All Might's All Might. So
As you can see,
I hate All Might's design, to be completely honest with you, too.
I'm not talking about his design, but like his, I don't know. I think his character. I want to learn more about All for
retro
One for All.
is cooler
All for
looking,
One.
though. I will say that. I think
Yeah.
his retro suit is cooler than his current one, but I don't know. I hate the fucking eyebrows or whatever the hell he has going on.
What about when
Yeah.
he's? What
Bunny
about when he's
ears?
Slenderman?
I
When he's not
I
a
think
walking cloud and he's Slenderman.
it's just kind of like the comedic part of it, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I think that aspect
According
of
to
the story is
T-Dub,
kind
we
of
have
cool.
some comedy coming up.
I think in that aspect,
No
I
room
think
in
it's pretty
there.
cool. Yeah, I like the idea that he can, like, everybody sees him as this goat that can literally not be stopped. But he's like, don't catch me the other like
Run me 3
21
hours and I'm
Yeah.
talking to me 3
Don't
hours
catch me
from
the
now.
other. Yeah, don't catch me the other 21 hours of the day. But
Same. I
yeah,
try to
it can
sleep those
definitely
times.
improve for sure. And Phantom Seer, honestly, can probably go down. So who knows? Because it does get canceled. So we'll see.
All right. Any final words? T, stop slandering my hero.
I'm not slandering.
We
my
just
hero.
gotta roll with these series a little bit longer. I mean,
I
That
am
ain't much
completely
longer
fine
for
with
Phantom
rolling
Seer.
with My Hero. Like I've said, the story of My Hero is good. I just
Mhm.
can't find myself to get attached to any damn character.
Reread Bakugo, bro. Bakugo's cool.
No.
I do also want to add that our viewers have something to look forward to. Me and Daniil are gonna do a special on
Ooh.
Twin Star
Hey.
Exorcist. Yes, you.
Yeah.
Which I am very much enjoying a lot more than Phantom Seer.
Twin Star Extras is
It's very good.
it's popping. Don't
Yeah.
watch the anime. Yeah, I heard like episode 6 gets good. When I was
like the
looking up
anime.
where volume 1 ends off for you, well, you better read it because it's a lot better. Volume 3 after you know what, we ain't gonna talk about it.
Nope, we'll talk about it in the special.
I don't know. T, stop slandering my hero.
I'm not slandering My Hero. Jesus Christ. It's not slander. Just make a better fucking product, okay? That's all I gotta say.
That's the intro
That
clip.
sounds a lot like slander to me.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding. Like I've said 1,000 times, I think story is fine. I think the story's good. The story definitely still wants to keep you watching. It's just they have to do a little more character building person to get attached to somebody. But like I've said for the 1,001th time now, the story is good.
That goes into
I
what I
just need
said.
more
They're
character.
building the story and leaving the characters behind. They'll catch up. I mean, I would hope.
Mhm.
These series behind me,
Not slander.
they didn't do that. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. That is episode 6, 7, 8. I think it's 6. I'm not too sure.
Who's counting?
Not us. T-Dub might be. That's
Oh,
all.
dude, I'm always counting something.
All right.
Got numbers-
Okay, so
numbers in my head.
I don't know how we end up talking about My Hero. Probably for the same amount of time we talk about Phantom Seer. Actually, I do actually know how that happened. We've got some interesting series
I
to
lost
look
count
forward
after
to.
10.
Next podcast, I haven't told these guys, but I got something cooking up to lift the mood around here about a little bit. We've in 4 series and we're down on 2 of them, so well, we got something special coming up for
Hey,
the next one.
someone's got to read them, you know.
This is Halloween.
I can't say me and you were doing too much reading, more reviewing did. All right, so that's it. Well, that's what we got for you guys today. Like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed. It's free if you end up coming around and not liking what we talk about next time or disagree. Unsubscribe or just argue with us in the comments. We love to argue. It may not look like it here, but we definitely like to argue.
Please leave comments
every
on
time.
series to go over because
these
two
two.
of the series we chose are looking too long.
Hey, if we're keeping it, hold on. I got a whiteboard, but I put a tally. I'm up 1-0. I'm just saying.
Hey, the 2 series I've recommended have been pretty
Well,
good.
2 kaiju is what you
Hells?
recommended. That was Daniel.
Hells.
That was Daniel.
I've read more Hells.
You
He
read
put
it.
you on Hells.
You ordered more, but
Daniel
he
did
put us
me
on.
Hells,
So what's that mean?
but I did read more of it.
If he put us on,
I'm the one. That's why I kept going. With
well,
it.
in that case, I put you on that. Goat.
What?
T, you still need to read this, but I gotta do my
JJK.
part and get Arcane done. I put you on that. Go. Well, Daniel, not Tito. So like T, I put you on that. Go. So
No. The video game did that.
who told you to download Shinobi Strikers?
All right. Well, thank
All
you
right.
guys for
Yeah,
watching.
that was just
Yeah,
chopping it up a
we'll
little
wrap this
bit,
up
but-
eventually.
All right.
Just,
Please.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
yeah.
Yeah. See ya.